Where's that gone? How are we? How are we all doing? I'm not sure. Does that do an automatic? So YouTube have changed some settings, and it says that you can go live horizontally and you can go live vertically. And yesterday there was a thing to change your orientation around for the screen, but now it's gone. It's not there anymore. Oh well, to hell with it. What we're talking about today, we're talking about clearing your energy effectively, ways of clearing your energy effectively. And I'm probably going to do a little bit of art while I'm doing this live as well. So I'll probably do a bit of creativity. And there's 2 dogs wandering around the room as well. Let's get rid of them. Right, come on, out. Out, come on. Thank you. So energy clearance. You know, there's a lot of people talk about this. But it's one of them things that kind of like sometimes, because it's got the word energy, people think, oh, it's woo-woo. It doesn't mean anything. It's got no meaning to me because it's got the word energy in. Which, at the end of the day, energy is everything. Everything is energy. We've got to get our heads around the fundamentals that energy is everything. And your energy changes day in, day out, every minute, every moment, every hour, every day, every week. Your energy is constantly changing. It's constantly fluctuating because you are constantly in different states of awareness. You're in constant different states of consciousness. You're constantly meeting different people every single day. You're constantly in different circumstances where it will bring up emotions. It will make you feel happy. It will make you feel sad. It will make you feel joyful and abundant, and it will make you feel low. And so you're going through all these different ranges of emotions which affect your energy. Energy is everything. So emotion, if you think of the word emotion, it's energy in motion. So your emotion is constantly moving. Emotions are constantly moving, not just from you, but from other people as well. So the other people that you meet day in, day out, the street that you walk down, the people that, you know, Bob on the corner of the road that you bump into and speak to, and, you know, maybe someone's just passed away in his family, is holding a lot of trauma, he's holding a lot of sadness. Rafaela, hello. He's holding a lot of sadness, he's holding a lot of grief, which is understandable. You know, we are human at the end of the day. Scaboza, I'll read, lad. I'll read. How's it going, boy? I'm all right. Thank you very much, young man. And so he's holding on to a lot of this stuff. And you stand there and you chat to them, you talk to them, and you start to feel a change in yourself from as they talk and they go through what's been going on, the things that have occurred. Maybe, you know, it could be anything, you know. So let's just say that, you know, somebody's passed away in his family. He's so sad, and there was all these other things that occurred, and then there was ructions between other family members, and yada yada, and all this stuff comes up in conversation, and all this conversation, these words, this and these emotions, they all have a frequency, and they are all connecting to you because you're there, you're the recipient, you're taking it on board, and I'm not saying that we need to totally disconnect ourselves from the conversation, because that's part of showing compassion, is being connected to the conversation. And right, you can fuck off, and you can Fuck off. Toodaloo. So long, suckers. I just don't tolerate stupidity in my lives. So if you want to do that, fuck off somewhere else. This isn't the space for it. This whole live is all about energy, and there we go. Not you, Scarboza. Just some other asses that have just been on the live. So there was Warman and Rasul Zadi Ali. Name says it all, really, doesn't it? But yeah, just saying abusive things, so I've just got rid of them. Where was I? So yeah, so you're having these conversations with these people, and it creates the emotional response within you, which is totally normal. It's totally normal to have that. Totally normal to have that. Where was I? Where was I going? Where was I going with this? Yeah, so they're going through all this stuff. They're creating all this energy from the situation. And then you come away feeling kind of like a little bit low, a little bit depleted. You don't feel so maybe when you went out the house that morning, you felt really full of vigor, full of joy, full of happiness. And then you've had that conversation, and then it's sort of like it's brought your energy down. You feel lower, you feel heavier in vibration. So when I use the word vibration, a lot of people kind of like don't get that, but it's all energy. It's all frequency. So when you're feeling low, it's your vibration is low. When you're feeling good, when you're feeling happy, when you're feeling joyous, your vibration is high. So that's it. It's simplistically that is it. And so when you are feeling low in vibration, obviously, then you come away, you're still carrying that energy. So how do we release that? How do we let it go? How do we heal it? How do we work with it? And so the first thing to be aware of when we're doing this is, okay, so why all of a sudden I've come out the house, I was feeling really, really good. I started talking to Bob, and he was telling me about all this stuff that had happened, and I started to feel the effects of it. And from that point on, for the rest of maybe that morning, that afternoon, the rest of the day, maybe you just haven't felt yourself. You've just felt low. So that is where you need to work. That's what you need to look at. That's what you need to work on. So we've identified what it is. It's the conversation that you've had. Okay? So there's lots of different ways, there's lots of different things you can do to cleanse and clear your energy. So there's different things that I use. There's like meditation is an extremely good, effective way to cleanse, balance your energy. Especially meditation with breath work and visualization, extremely powerful. Reiki, again, very good for cleansing and clearing and balancing your emotions, your auric field. Also, nature has a very, very good balancing, a very powerful effect on balancing your emotional, physical, spiritual well-being and mental well-being. So getting out into nature, walking among the trees, walking barefoot, grounding your energy. So it's all about regrounding your energy and getting back to stability. So that's what we're looking for when we're trying to balance our energy. Vivian Lax, will my business with my partner Ming be successful? Thank you. I suppose it depends what is the business and how much are you putting into it, how much work you're putting into it, how much focus and drive you're putting into it. There's lots of different factors that need to go into it. And this kind of like ties in well with how we cleanse and clear our own energy. So if we believe, the belief is the most strongest thing that we have. If we believe that we're carrying a load of negative energy around with us all the time, if we're in that mindset, then we're already creating it. We've already got it, and then we have to work with it. But then you have to look at like the mindset. So why do I constantly believe that? Why do I constantly think that? So there's something within the mind, something within your emotional state that you need to look at, that you need to heal and work on. So we've got meditation, we've got Reiki, we've got nature, we've got walks in nature, getting into water, the open sea, or having a salt bath, really, really good for grounding and balancing your energy and the energy that is around you as well. And also the belief that goes behind that. So the practice that you're doing, if you believe that it's going to help, then it will, because the actual act and the belief of it is a big part of it. It's a big part of that. If you don't think anything's going to happen and you're going to always be stuck in this way of being, then you're already halfway there creating it yourself. So when we think about sort of like energy and manifestation, so a lot of your mind, a lot of your emotions, a lot of your thoughts, a lot of your ways of being are already creating the outcome. So if we already think that we've got stuff attached to us and connected to us and harming us and making us feel and think negative things, then we're already halfway there. We've already created a lot of the problem ourselves. And then we're going to look at, well, okay, so why am I constantly thinking this? Why do I constantly think that the worst situation is going to happen or the worst thing is going to take place? I'm trying to explain it kind of in practical terms for anyone to take away from this live, that you can use in everyday life. So using the elements is another very, very powerful way of cleansing and clearing your energy. So on a nice windy day, you go out and the whole term, it's blowing the cobwebs away. It's blowing all that stagnant stuff that's attached to you away with the forces of nature. And if you visualize it, if you feel it, if you believe it and allow it to happen, then it will happen. It will. And you always feel better after a good walk in the wind, or a good walk in nature, or going among trees, walking along the beach. You always feel better for it, because you're connecting closer. You're connecting closer to nature, which we are all a part of. Hi Ian, you cut your hair, it looks good. I did a couple of days ago, Angela. Yeah. So there's a few ways. So going back to what I was saying at the very, very beginning of this live, so we've come out of our house on the morning, we're feeling tip-top, we're feeling top of the world, we've had a really good sleep, we're feeling energized, we're feeling like we're going to take on the day. We've got so much energy inside of us, and you're ready to just like take on the day and go gun-ho. And you come out your door, you get to the end of the road, and you speak to the neighbour. Oh, thank you, Angela. Thank you. That's very kind of you. Thank you so much. You're speaking to the neighbour at the end of the road, and they've gone through this situation, maybe a bereavement or something's happened that's making them upset, that's making them emotionally down, and they're talking to you about it, and you're trying to make excuses to get away, but you feel like a compassionate. You feel a compassion that you need to stay there just to talk to them, just because they need someone to talk to, and that's fine. That's totally understandable. Because we all do that, and we're all there to support each other as human beings on this soul journey. But then you come away from that feeling their emotions. You come away from that feeling that heaviness from that conversation. So these are some of the techniques that I'm talking about now of how we can help that. So we've covered like the meditation and visualization and breath work, extremely powerful ways to just get back to center, get back to the self, and just allow all that stuff to go, become more present in the moment, and realize that, the emotions that you've been feeling from Bob at the end of the rose, they're not your emotions, but you've connected to them on a mental and emotional level because you're in a compassionate conversation with somebody else. Well, the thing is as well, when we're doing this stuff, it's not about bypassing a conversation. It's not about totally separating yourself and just being like an android. You can be involved within the conversation, and you are going to be compassionate and give them love and care. But when you're working with energy, you also have to be aware of, right, okay, how am I going to deal with this energy afterwards? And the main reason why this video is coming up today is because recently I've been speaking to people. When I've been going for a wander into town, I've been speaking to people, and they're telling me this about somebody, and they're telling me that about somebody, and they're effing and they're blinding, and every other word is a swear word, and the world's out to get them, and there's all this stuff that's happening, and yada yada yada, and all this sort of stuff. And I'm just like, I'm trying to sort of like separate myself from it, because I know that it's going to kind of like affect me on some level. But obviously you don't want to be kind of like totally ignorant, and you don't want to tell them just to shut up as well. Everyone's got an opinion, everyone's got a voice. So there is an aspect within this as well, within this conversation, where now I try to, I will either try to cleverly divert the conversation to something else a little bit lighter, so it takes them away from talking about all this blah, 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 and pointing at other people and blame and swearing and this, that and the other. And I will try to just generally gravitate the subject away from what they're on about. Or the other thing that I sometimes do is I do disengage. If I feel it's affecting me, I just disengage, and I don't give the conversation any power. So if you start to, it's like anything in life as well, anything that we see in the media, in the mainstream world, in the news, in all this stuff that's going on around us, if you become so engaged with it and you're giving it the power, then you're giving yourself kind of like away, you're giving your energy away slightly. And you've got to learn how to bring that back. And it's all about boundary setting. It's all about setting a boundary and just saying, this is my energy, that's your energy. I will engage in this conversation, but I will only kind of engage in it for so long on my terms, kind of thing. And if it gets too much, you've got to just say, you've got to make your excuses, and just say, look, I'm in a bit of a rush, I'm going to have to dash off, but lovely seeing you anyway, and then off you go. Because when you start to feel it affect you, then it could be quite a lot to shift. It can be quite a lot to shift when you come away from that. Yeah, absolutely. So where are we up to? We're up to there. So we've had this conversation with Bob at the end of the road. He's gone through this situation, this bereavement or whatever, and he's given you the news, and he's really, really upset, and all the families are arguing and bickering, and they're fighting over possession and property and money and stuff. And I am coming to a point with this live as well. Like, I am getting there because of what I'm seeing as well. I'm guilty of it because you see it as well. on like social media and stuff. And then that's the other thing as well, is disconnecting from social media, disconnecting from negative social media. So when you're seeing all the news, the headlines, the AI created headlines that are there to create like like a shock reaction, that negative stuff, when that comes up, the reason why that's there to create that shock thing is to pull you in. It's to pull your energy in. So then you're like kind of like you're attached. You're giving your power away. You're receptive and you're there. They've pulled you in, and it's a little bit like Beast Bomber. I'm a 20-year-old male suffering too much from a lot of things. Bless you, brother. There's a lot of people in the world, especially around your age, that are having to deal with, and younger as well, you know, that are having to deal with a lot of stuff, especially on the global scale, through social media, through digital devices. There's a lot of stuff that's coming up for people because in my time, I'm 45, but when I was younger, we were allowed to express feelings. We were allowed to kind of like, we didn't have social media. There was no such thing as Facebook, or I didn't even have mobile phones back then, you know. So we had to talk. We had to talk about things, and this is another thing that's happening is people don't talk anymore. So they get a lot of this stuff built up energetically within them. And it's really good that you're here, actually, because this is another thing, you know, the stuff that you're going through, it's all energetic. It's all energetic stuff that's going on behind the scenes, internally, mentally and emotionally. So, and the kind of like, I see the sign behind you. Are you anywhere related to spirituality? I just don't know who to talk to. I'm surrounded by people who don't want me at all. Got no one currently. Oh, bless you, brother. So I'm connected to spirituality. So I'm not like religious, although I've got the symbol there. I'm not Hindu. I don't follow a set of belief structures. I follow my own range of belief structures, which span across many cultures and religions, not just one. And that's what spirituality is. It's about being open to the realms that are around us, and where we feel guided to go with our intuition. And where was I going with that? I can't remember what I was saying. And it's not your fault. So Angela, who's Principessa, is spiritual, but born Catholic. That's really interesting. Catholics, you tend to find a lot of Catholics become mediums as well, or very inclined to be spiritual. So I'm just talking about the different ways of which we can clear this energy. So we've said meditation is one of the grounding stones, one of the foundations. It's one of the foundations for wellness, for mental and emotional wellness, is just to ground yourself with meditation. It's one of the pillars. It's as David says there, or David says, it's everything. It really is. It is, for me, it was the foundations of change. Until I started meditation, I was just like a whirlwind. I was all over. I was following different things, buying this, getting that, feeling alone, didn't know who I was, feeling very confused, trying to grasp onto something until I found meditation, and it gave me the power to sit with myself. And once you start to sit with yourself, that's a very, very powerful place to be, because then you learn you actually don't need all that external stuff. You become more powerful internally within yourself. You become more aware of your energy. So thank you for my super thanks, Angela, as well. So if anyone feels called to, you can donate to the channel, give me a super thanks for any of this information that you're getting today. You can also subscribe to the channel if you're new here and you want to follow this channel. I'll give you a little introduction to who I am. So my name's Ian, I'm in the UK. I'm a Reiki teacher, practitioner. I'm also a meditation teacher and practitioner. I also practice hypnotherapy, the emotional freedom technique, a couple of forms of massage, and I'm also a personal trainer as well. So very much into the mind, body, spiritual connections of ourselves. So when you start working on that level, you start to understand how every little pillar of our life, the physical, the mental, the emotional and spiritual, how important it is to our overall well-being. So that's who I am. But I started off as, you know, in a kind of like an awakening, a spiritual awakening in my mid to late 20s, I would say, with depression, anxiety, not knowing who I was, feeling very alone, feeling very vulnerable, trying to follow different crowds, different people to try and find my identity of who I was, and also come to terms with like my own sexuality, and yeah, it's been kind of like a bit of a journey, and over the years, I've come to understand things on a much kind of like deeper level internally within me, and then it then comes to the point of trying to explain it and create content and videos about it, which I've been trying to do for the last 5 years. And I think now I'm kind of like getting to the point where I can actually speak and create and formulate what I'm meaning. I'm trying to put stuff across. So when I first started the channel, it was all kind of like very, ooh, isn't it? It's exciting, isn't it? Very, very mystical and all this sort of stuff. But over the years, like as a practitioner now, I want things to be practical and functional for people to use in everyday life, and not because I watch a lot of spiritual videos and I get to the end of it and I just think I'm no further forward. I didn't learn anything from the beginning of that video to the end of that video. So I'm at a place now on my own journey where I'm trying to bring things that I've learned into context, to give you the awareness and understanding of how you can use it in everyday life to be able to balance your mind, balance your emotions, connect to your own soul, connect to your energy within, to find the answers, because the answers are all there. The answers are all within your intuition, and all we've got to do is balance this, the emotions, the mind, balance this and connect deeply to that center of self, your Christ consciousness, your intuition, your Buddha nature, whatever your God source energy, whatever you want to call it. There's a lot of different names for it, yeah, so that's where I'm at now. It's sort of like 20 years later, you know, and a lot of this work I've been doing for the last sort of, like the Reiki especially, meditation longer, but the Reiki for the last 6 years, and before that I was very much into the meditation and the crystals and using crystals in meditation just to help to shift my frequency and shift my energy, and to shift any negative energy. And so there's another tool that we can use as well to assist our own energy. Is some crystals are really, really beneficial for that. And you know, things like amethyst, clear quartz, obsidian, black tourmaline, selenite, all really good for purifying, for cleansing, for grounding, and for also amplifying your energy as well. You know, clear quartz and amethyst, very, very good for amplifying and harmonizing and balancing your energy into a more harmonious state within. So crystals, another really, really great tool. How would you use them? How would you use a crystal? So to begin with, I used to just sit and meditate with them. For some reason, I just when I started meditating, I just felt this pull towards crystals, and I started seeing crystals in magazines, in newspapers, on TV shows, and I just felt a connection. I felt a pull, and I was like, crystals. There's something to maybe look into. So I started doing that, and I started collecting a few. I mean, I got, goodness knows how many I have now. I have loads around the home. And over the years I started collecting them. I like crystals. I don't use them as much now because I understand that all that power that you get from crystals is already within you. It's already there. It's just like what I was saying before, it's more about the belief. If you believe in your own power and your own strength, and your own light, then a lot of the stuff that you feel is affecting you won't affect you as much. But you need to use some of these tools to sort of like just break down those layers a little bit. Yeah, the comforters. That's a really good way of putting it. They are comforters. So like wearing them on a cord or whatever, a bit of string or a chain around your neck. You can wear your crystals in a clasp, in a little cage, or some of them already have a little thing attached so you can wear them like that. Put them in your pocket, put them in your wallet, put them in your purse, put them in your handbag, put them in your bra, put them in your knickers. Just put them anywhere really, just to wear them. And they help you, because you already, the thing is, it's subconsciously inside, you think, oh, well, I'm carrying my crystals, I'm okay today, I'm safe. So you've already created that subconscious belief that you're fine because you're carrying your crystals. The trouble that happens then is people become too sort of attached to need them, so that if they go out, they're like, oh my God, I'm not wearing my crystals. Oh my God, I'm exposed to all this energy. And as soon as you have that belief that you get exposed to a lot of this energy, you're already inviting it in. You've already brought it in. So you have to just. So the crystals are a really great tool, and the meditation, the Reiki, and all the other different practices, really, really great tools. Just give you a sense of empowerment, enrichment, strength, awareness, knowing, and just a belief in yourself. And I think that is the trouble, is people don't have this belief and strength in themselves, and there's power within themselves, and that's why a lot of stuff does and can affect us. And I'm not saying that I'm like immune to all this stuff. Absolutely not. I mean, like I said earlier, quite recently I've been having conversations with people where the conversation, every other word's been a swear word, or it's been this, or it's been that, or it's been the other. And and I've come away just feeling drained, because I didn't expect it, really. I just didn't expect them to come out with it. I just thought it was going to be a quick conversation. Oh, hello, how are you doing? Then before you know it, they're just like, I'm saying, oh my God. And then you're stuck there for 5-10 minutes or whatever, and they're ranting on about this, and they don't ask you once about how you are, how you're doing. They're just so in the ego and obsessed with what they've got going on that they just want to sort of like just chuck it all on you. Well, that's exactly what I'm saying, J1. What I'm saying is you don't need a rock to feel good. You just got to have the belief within yourself. So that's exactly what I'm saying. So that's the words I've been using. It's all about your own sense of strength and self-belief. What you can get them from them is, as Angela said before, they're comforters. They help you. I don't need them. I don't need crystals. That's what I was just been saying. If you listen to what I've been saying, I don't wear them. I don't use them much. I only use them every now and again. But that's not for me. That's for therapy clients that want the crystals in their therapy sessions. But I don't use them. I like having them around, but I don't particularly use them. But they're nice for the energy, they're nice for the vibration. But again, I don't need them because I know the vibration's fine. Because I'm always aware of the energy that's going on around me. Because everything is energy. When you start to become aware of it and more receptive to it, and you understand kind of like how it works. Yeah, when you're anxious, they are very good. They are very effective. That's kind of like what I found when I was using crystals. I found them very effective just to help me sort of like feel calmer because I was in the wrong mindset. I was in the wrong frequency. The crystals help to comfort you, to get you into the frequency that where you want to be. That they're not a means to an end, but they are a tool. They are a spiritual tool you can use to assist you. It's the same with sage. If you want to use sage around your home, it's the same with Palo Santo. It's the same with Agua de Florida. It's the same with singing bowls. They're all tools that we can use to facilitate and harmonize the energy that's around us. And they're all great tools for centering the mind, centering the self, and connecting us deeper to the self. So that's what I found with them, is like meditating with them is very, very powerful. So that's the next thing I was going to come on to as well, Angela, was art. So getting into something creative, getting into something that you feel passionate about, such as art, such as painting, such as crafting, maybe crochet, embroidery, anything like that, anything that just takes you away from like the stuff. It takes you back into your own energy, back into your own awareness, and it helps you. It helps you just balance the mind. And once you start to balance the mind and the emotions, it calms everything down, and all that stuff just gravitates away. It drifts away. It moves away, because you're not consciously connected to it. As soon as you start consciously connecting back to it again, that's when it starts coming back in. So when I first came on the live, there was a few people that were just, the messages were hidden because they were abusive, basically. So they were hidden, so I had to sort of like review them to see what they were, and I didn't allow them in, and I blocked them out of the live. And that is part of your boundary setting. If you allow that in, then you're starting to allow more in. So it's like one of the Reiki principles that we use is like being honest and authentic, and also being kind and compassionate. That's another Reiki principle. But I think a lot of people mistake that for being kind of like just open to everything and open to all behavior. But it's not. If you don't honor yourself, and you aren't honest with yourself, and you're not authentic with yourself, and that you allow this stuff to happen, then you're just as bad for it, really, because you're allowing it in. So you got to put the line down, and you don't tolerate shit. And it's all about discipline at the end of the day. You get discipline in everything, in every form of life. You get discipline in, when you want to go to the gym, you have to have a discipline. You get discipline within meditation. You get discipline within your lifestyle, what you're going to eat, how you're going to feed yourself, how you're going to behave, how you're going to think. It's all about a discipline and building a discipline for you to live more peacefully and harmoniously. And if people cross that barrier, then you say goodbye. You don't let them in. You don't. You can. What's the expression that the Buddha used to use? It's like about the thought. When you're in meditation, you have the thoughts. Open the front door, allow the thoughts to come through. Open the back door and allow the thoughts to just leave. So it's just having both doors open and allow them to come and go. But don't make them a cup of tea. That was it. Don't let them sit down and make them a cup of tea. Just allow them to pass through. And that is the same with people that have toxic behavior. Let them move through. Let them pass through. If you let them in, if you make them a cup of tea, then you're part of the problem. And this is the same as kind of like your energy and looking after your own energy. If you kind of like put up with it, if you put up with that behavior that's negative and it's affecting you and it's affecting the way you behave, it's affecting your family, it's affecting relationships, it's affecting whatever it might be, then because you're doing it, you're involved with it, you're part of the problem. So just allow them to just pass by, allow them to go. And that's why I mean, even on the lives, there's a thing that says, please keep your comments respectful and what have you. So why do people feel the need to do that? But it's just where they are. It's just where they are in their everyday state. All you can really do is just give them compassion and let them go, and move them on. Eventually, they can only point that frustration and that anger at so many things until eventually they have to point back to themselves. They can only do that for so long. So the little thing that I was trying to get across with this as well is there was a thing on, I think it was real. It looked real. It looked like a real video, but I was just, how you sort of scroll through social media and see what's going on TikTok or whatever, and that's another bloody shit show altogether. But you see all these videos, and we've been so cleverly kind of manipulated to actually hate each other. How far have we gone? There's just so much of that. When you look around and there was like a woman and she was saying something about the flag, and I think it was about like the Union Jack. And then there was the other people that were going about the Union Jack, and it just created this whole argument. But they were all British, and I'm like, hang on a minute, you're all British and you're all arguing about your own flag. How insane is that? How insane is the fact that people have been pushed that far that they're now divided over their own country and their own flag? It's just really, really tell me about the Om painting. The Om painting isn't actually a painting. It's cloth. It's like a wall hanging, a wall tapestry. So tell me, I bought that in a seaside town called Saltburn, which is in, now then, is it Cleveland, Teesside or North Yorkshire? I think it's North Yorkshire. But it's a lovely little seaside town. It's got a lovely energy to the town itself. It's very, very kind of like a nice spiritual place. It's it's obviously it's on the coast. So I bought it in there, and I bought that probably five years ago, something about that. I just liked it. Yeah, I just liked it. I like the colours. I like the vibrancy of it. Obviously, it's to do with Om. So Om is for like your third eye. It's to do with your meditation. It's connecting to your God source energy through the power of the universal mantra of Om. So Om is the universal mantra that helps you to connect to that frequency. And it's extremely, extremely powerful. I have a few Om mantras on my channel actually, where you can follow them. But when you actually sit and say Om, and you take a breath in, and on the breath out, it's Om. You can start to feel shifts in your own energy and in your own vibration. You start to feel little movements, little tweaks. And then I did a video, another video a while back about why it's so effective. So the reason why it's so effective is when you go to say Om, so you're going Om, so O, so you're going O with the mouth, and also your tongue is making that sort of shape. So as soon as you start to change the shape of your mouth and you move your tongue, what then happens, the tongue is going to the bottom of the mouth. It's opening up your airways, opening up your throat, which is connecting to your vagus nerve. Your vagus nerve is very much to do with getting into your parasympathetic nervous system. So it's all about, it's getting down into your gut. So your vagus nerve, which is known as the wandering nerve, it goes from the brain all the way around eyes, ears, throat, all the way down here, down into your gut. And it's the biggest nerve in the human body. And that's why they call it the wandering nerve, because it goes so far. So when you start to connect to the parasympathetic nervous system, what you're doing is you're taking your state out of sympathetic nervous system, which is fight or flight, and you're starting to get it into parasympathetic nervous system, which is relax and digest, and rest and digest. So when you start to go, that is the first start of the activation of your parasympathetic nervous system and your vagus nerve. So then you're going when you go and so you put your lips together, you got that and you feel the vibration reverberate going all the way down into your body and all the way down into your gut. So it's and you can feel that if you breathe in deeply, go you feel the vibration all the way down to the back, to the base of your spine, which is your root chakra. So you're connecting from here, from your head. All of this is vibrating all the way down. Your vagus nerve is going all the way down to the base of the spine. It's connecting everything together. That is why it's so powerful. So you're connecting from here. You can actually feel here, around the top of the head, the crown. It's moving through, it's moving down your body, right down to the base of your spine, which is your root chakra. So you're activating all of your energy centers, opening yourself up to the universe when you're in this meditative state. Did you know there is a perfect example of the third eye connection in the Bible? Absolutely, in the Bible, yeah, absolutely. It's all over the place. The only thing is, a lot of the texts have been changed to bring around levels of control. That's the only difference. But yeah, absolutely. There's a guy that I watch on YouTube, and I watch his videos quite a lot, called Paul Wallace, and he used to be a pastor, and he goes into like the ancient Amharic and how it's been retranslated that many different times, but when he's going way back to sort of like I was just watching a video this morning actually, and he was looking into not Anunnaki. He looks into the Anunnaki as well, but not the Anunnaki. It was what's the name of them? But he goes into a lot of sort of ancient races, ancient colours, ancient cultures, but also the connection to like extraterrestrials, and their involvement within like the human race, and through the Bible and the various things that were being shown, and obviously the Arcturians as well. The Arcturians are very heavily involved, because Arcturian, which I only found out the other day, also means archangel, and I thought that was really interesting. So there's a lot that's kind of like, it gets hidden and it gets covered up, because it needs to be packaged and boxed and given to a populace of people to say, well, this is what you need to follow these little this little structure of ways of behaving and believing, and if you believe anything else out of that, then you'll get called this, or you'll get ridiculed, or you'll get bumped off, or whatever. I highly recommend Bill Donahue for that kind of thing. He explains the esoteric and allegoric truths in the Bible. Absolutely fascinating, connects with a lot of what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of it. There's a lot of that sort of stuff you can look at and you can find if you want to take the time to try and expand people's minds a little bit. Not everybody's ready for it. Not everybody wants to, but it's very, very interesting when some. I mean, I couldn't sit and try and work it all out. Because I just don't have the knowledge of that kind of stuff. But the fact that the videos that I'm watching comes from a guy that used to be a pastor, and did a lot of talks and stuff about the Bible, and used to actually teach to other people that wanted to get into the church. So I just find that I find it quite interesting. The information that he does give is very very interesting. Very interesting. It just makes you kind of like think a little bit more about what we have or what we haven't been told. Because you can only, the thing is as well with the populace, you can only give people so much. And then the thing about that is as well, when you give people so much information, it's just enough to keep them kind of like, okay. And they'll just kind of like follow that. But when it gets to a point where, Bible studies. So that's what he did a lot of, Angela. But he was also a priest as well. But yeah, check him out. Check his channel out. He's got two, I think. I think one's called The Fifth Kind, which is more to do with sort of alien connections with the Bible, and he's got another one as well, which I think is just called Paul Wallace. I can't remember, but it is very, very interesting. And yeah, so you can only give people so much information to just kind of keep them kind of like in a little kind of like controlled bubble. But it's when people start like looking beyond that it makes the system worry a little bit, and that's when they start to create things. They call people names like, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist, or you're a tinfoil hat wearer, and all this sort of stuff. But it's just because people want to look for alternative meanings or reasons, or they want to look a little bit deeper because the information that they've given just doesn't add up. And somewhere intuitively and internally within their own energy, which is what we're talking about, something just doesn't sit right, and there's something behind it. And from a lot of my life, that's been kind of like what has happened. Things just haven't really sat right with me. I think I may have come across that chap. I've been digging for some time. The thing is as well, you can dig for ages and ages and ages, and you can keep going and you can keep going. But we've always got to come back to us. We've always got to come back to ourselves. We've always got to come back to our own energy, because a lot of this stuff as well, which when, especially when sort of like COVID happened and what have you, a lot of this stuff people started like sort of becoming more aware and opening up, and wanting to look for other things, and a lot of conspiracy theories and all this sort of stuff came out, which have obviously come true, a lot of them. But people just like, it's like they just know something doesn't add up. So intuitively they already know, so they're just looking for something a little bit deeper. And when you start looking a little bit deeper, that's when people start saying, oh God, he's gone a bit off the radar, he's not following the rails. But I think if we all just follow the next person in front of us, then how do we evolve? How do we expand from our own from our own belief system of just being in the 9 till 5 and the eat, sleep, repeat routine? How do we evolve beyond that, other than just being just slaves to a system that only wants to use you until you die, and then they use you anyway because it's going to take all that money off you that you've accrued over the years. So getting back to how we work on our own energy within that, we've got to let go. I know it sounds like crazy, but the more we actually let go of being the follower of the next thing that we need to look into, or the next rabbit hole that we want to go down, because again, like I was saying earlier, I think a lot of that is a distraction for us as well, and I think it's put there for a purpose, to try and just let them follow this one, and it'll bring them down here instead of coming back here. So we always need to come back to ourselves, and I think that's the most important thing. And the only way we can come back to ourselves is by letting it go. And that is the biggest lesson about working with your own energy, is just allowing it to let go and giving it the permission, whatever it might be, whatever is making you feel heavy, whatever is making you feel low. And I know just by saying, I don't want this anymore, I don't want to feel like this anymore, it's not going to happen instantaneously. But you just got to keep going with it, and it will go. The more you connect back to yourself, the more centered you are with you, and the clearer your direction will be in where you want to go, and what you want to do, and what you want to feel, and what you want to take from the information that you're seeing. Yeah. I guess we need some people to enlighten others in ways so they can fully appreciate their potential. As they say, knowledge is power. Absolutely, and that's kind of like one of the reasons, in an egoic sense, one of the reasons why I wanted to create this channel 5 years ago, was just to bring people's awareness to the possibilities that are within us, through when you start a path of healing, such as with meditation, Reiki, and all the other things that I've been talking about, to cleanse and clear your energy. And as you become more secure in your own energy, you actually realize that you are a lot more powerful than what you're led to believe. Our inner compass is always there, always, Angela, always there, absolutely. And it never goes anywhere. And it's funny, when I used to, well, I still do groups every now and again for meditation groups and what have you. But we'll get to the end of the meditation group, and people used to say, oh, I wish I could feel like that all the time. Like, why don't you feel like that all the time? It's because something up here needs balancing. There needs to be some sort of mental and emotional work to allow you to balance your energy and just bring everything back to a calmness, a calm way of being, a centeredness. And then that is always there. And I always finish a lot of my meditations with that. And I will just say, and as you start to step out of this meditation, you will realize that inner light, that peace, is always with you. It's always present. And it's only your reaction, it's only your emotional state, it's only your response that makes you separate from that. But that is always there. Well, I've quite enjoyed this one. It's gone down different pathways, but I think these sorts of conversations need to, because there's so much to it as well. It's not just well, this is that, that's how you deal with it. There is so many different ways, because we're all individual on a physical journey. We're so individual. We're all the same energetically, but we're so individual in the way that we react, the way that we respond, the way all the sort of sociological, economical triggers, and your upbringing, your ancestral stuff, your traumas, the stuff that's happened in this life, the stuff that's happened in previous lives, the energy that you're holding on to and may need to be able to become more aware of it, to be able to release it and to let it go. There is so much more that we need to be aware of. And I think that's why you have to go into different avenues to try and explain this stuff, because one person will take it as this, and then the next person will take it as that, and then this person over here will just sort of dismiss everything totally because they just don't get it and they don't understand it, and that's fine as well. Not everybody is going to get this stuff. They're in their level. you're in your level, I'm in my level. You know, we're all the same. We're all on the same journey. It's just whatever's gone on in life, because you get a lot of people, you know, like Eckhart Tolle always says, you know, oh, my life, you know, but it's all an emotional, mental response, and the life itself is just a physical life. The life beyond that is what is ever present and constant. I totally agree with you. Letting go is crucial to self-development. It's a tricky thing to get right. Letting go of preconceptions is an art, and an acceptance of allowing spirit to flow us. Yeah, it is. It is tricky, and it's very, very easy to get pulled in and get swept in to the circus. Oh, thank you for being here, Angela. Lovely to see you as always. Have a good sleep, have a good rest, because I know it'll be getting late over where you are, in Aussie land, in Australia. But good night to you, and yeah, have a good sleep. Thanks for being here. Yeah, the letting go is it is difficult. It's hard. It's a hard thing to take in and to accept, but it's such an important part of it. It really is very, very important. And that as well, you know, is another great way to cleanse your energy. It's just to let it go, and not be consciously connected to it, not have to be so involved with it that it starts to create havoc in each and every day. Angela, you found me exactly the right time. There is no wish. You found me 5 years ago. It's all okay. You found me in the divine timing that was meant to happen. Yeah. Everything is perfect. Everything is perfect just as it is. And that's the other thing as well, is that's the other concept that a lot of people kind of like don't kind of like get, is, well, if you say everything's perfect, then it's like, well, people will say, well, why did this happen? Why did this happen? Why did that happen? Because we're constantly looking for explanations as well, but the explanations always comes through the art of that person's perception. So that person perceives a certain way because of their state of being, their awareness. Well, I've been on for just over an hour, so I'm probably going to head off. But it's been lovely to chat to so many lovely, lovely people that have wanted to connect, and some really, really interesting conversations about all sorts, really. It's gone right across the spectrum. It's been good. But yeah, I need to jump off. I'm going to have a client's session to do, distance healing session. Yeah, so thank you very much for being here. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and commenting and making conversation. And hopefully see you again soon in another video, another live. I do release videos lovely to chat with you. I have loads more to say. I've given you a like and now subscribe. Thank you very much. ACJ, you were quiet behind the scenes. Thank you very much for being here. Colton Bartram, I have no idea what you're talking about. But thank you for being here. Much love. Do take care. And bye for now. Namaste. Bye-bye.